Right everyone, it is Finn here and welcome to my European final prediction video where of course today we're predicting the Conference League, we're predicting the Europa League and of course we're predicting the Champions League finals for today's video. Now of course, coming within the next week or so, we've got 3 gigantic European finals. Obviously 6 teams will have the opportunity to take home silverware, but only 3 will have the pleasure to do so. Of course, the 3 games we're going to be talking about in today's video. First of all, with the Europa Conference League, who will win the first ever Europa Conference League? AS Roma or Feyenoord? Of course, Jose Mourinho, the special one, could become the first ever manager to win the Conference League, Europa League and Champions League. Will the special one have a special occasion?
You know, they like to cry. That's tradition.
Of course, we've got the Europa League final between Eintracht, Frankfurt and Rangers. Both teams have caused upsets to get to the final, but can they do it one more time when silverware is on the line? And of course, we end off with the Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Again, that needs absolutely no introduction, although that is exactly what I've just done for it. But this game needs no build-up, it needs no hype. We know how gigantic a game like this can be. And of course, we're going to be talking about all 3 of those games in today's video. Now, of course, excuse my stuffy nose or the way I talk from time to time. I am slightly sick. If you guys couldn't tell, of course, if you want to give me your support, leave a like down below.
No, I don't think I will.
Of course, that is a joke, you don't have to, but it would be appreciated. And of course, I want you guys, before we jump into the predictions, to put down in the comment section down below, get those fingers typing. Who do you think will win each of these 3 competitions? Which 3 teams do you think will take home silverware? And of course, don't forget to subscribe down below if you want to catch more of my content in the future. But of course, jumping into game numero uno, the Conference League finals between AS Roma and Feyenoord. Now, of course, looking at Roma, they haven't quite had the dream season they thought they would in the Serie A this season, currently 6th place, obviously in a Europa League spot. So I mean, even if they win the Conference League or not, they'll still play in the Europa League next season. Of course, they've had some brilliant individuals so far this season, but one thing that really sticks in my way and one thing that slightly worries me about whether they can win this competition is the fact that I would say Feyenoord has had a slightly trickier path to the final than them and has almost proven themselves more than AS Roma. I mean, of course, looking at both of these 2 teams, their road to the final. Looking at AS Roma, this was their group to reach the final. And the reason I say this group, and I'm not saying any of the names, is because I mean, I can't pronounce a single name on there. But of course, they were in there with a Norwegian team, Ukrainian team, and a Bulgarian team. I mean, they were favorites to win the group. They had to win the group. Otherwise, Jose Mourinho might as well just see the door on his way out so long. Of course, in the round of 16, they played the likes of Vitesse, obviously a different Eredivisie team, a different Dutch team, so they have proven that they can beat them. Ahead of Feyenoord, of course, in the quarterfinals, they played Bodo, or however you pronounce it, the same Norwegian team as earlier. And of course, versus Leicester City in the semi-final, obviously their biggest task, their biggest point to prove themselves, and they did just that. Now, of course, looking at Feyenoord, as I said, they've had a slightly trickier group. They were in a group with the likes of Slavia Prague, a team that we've seen on many occasions upset in the Champions League. Of course, they were in there with Bundesliga team Union Berlin, and of course the likes of Maccabi, obviously a team from Israel. Of course, past that round of 16, they played Partizan, obviously a Serbian team who we've also seen in the Champions League before, along with Slavia Prague once again, and Marseille, a previous Champions League winner from the French league in the semi-final. Both of these 2 teams really having a slightly easy path to get to the final, both of them being probably favorites to reach the stage, both of them kind of having a very tricky semi-final and proving everyone wrong kind of thing. So looking at these 2 teams right now, I'm going to say this, it is very, very close. And I wouldn't say it's an easy prediction to say who's going to win this. Look, obviously initially, I think everyone assumes AS Roma is going to end up winning this. But of course, don't forget, AS Roma lost to a team that doesn't even have a logo on Wikipedia.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Jose Mourinho. I know him as a Manchester United fan. When he was with us, nothing was guaranteed. But of course, the last trophy Jose Mourinho ended up winning was a European trophy with Manchester United. Could he do it with AS Roma? I solidly believe so, to be honest with you. Although Feyenoord have proven themselves more in this competition, I would say, than AS Roma. Although they've had slightly tougher competition, at the end of the day, I still have to go for AS Roma. They've got brilliant players in their squad, from Rui Patricio, who's been a brilliant signing from Wolverhampton Wanderers. We know how good Chris Smalling can be. We know Pellegrini. We know Zaniolo. Once again, there are some brilliant players in the squad. And obviously, you have to look at the name Tammy Abraham. I mean, forget Abraham Lincoln, the vampire slayer. You have to look at Tammy Abraham, the goalkeeper slayer. I mean, 15 goals in the Serie A this season, 8 goals in the Conference League. That man is not sleeping in front of the goal, and I don't think he'll do so versus Feyenoord. And because of that, I do believe AS Roma will be winning the first ever Conference League season. Once again, we'll have to wait and see whether that happens or not. Of course, jumping into the Europa League final, Frankfurt versus Rangers. Now, both of these teams have caused major upsets, but I mean, you just have to look at Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, some of the upsets they've caused. In the semi-final, they beat West Ham United. In the quarter-final, they beat FC Barcelona. In the round of 16, they beat Real Betis. I mean, not even to mention a group. They won a group that included the likes of Olympiacos, Fenerbahce, and Royal Antwerp. They have not had an easy competition whatsoever, and they seem to have absolutely breezed through it, which is so bizarre considering the fact that they are 11th place in the Bundesliga. They are bottom place of the German league, but yet they could still qualify for the Champions League next season. Once again, football is a very, very weird animal, but once again, absolutely anything can happen. Of course, looking at the likes of Rangers, they've also kind of caused a few upsets to get to the final. They also haven't had, I would say, an easy path to the final. Obviously, they win a group with the likes of Lyon, Sparta Prague, and the likes of Brøndby. Obviously, a Danish team. Obviously, past that, they had the likes of Red Star in the round of 16. They had the likes of Braga, I believe a Portuguese team in the quarterfinal, and of course, RB Leipzig in the semi-final. Neither of these two teams have had an easy road to the final, but they both got here, and I would say they both deserve to be in the final at the moment. Now, of course, it would be absolutely gigantic for Rangers to win this trophy. Of course, they didn't win the Scottish League this season. Celtic had the pleasure to do so. As I said, Frankfurt have had an awful domestic season. It all goes down to this, and I have to be honest with you guys. I think I might have to go for Eintracht Frankfurt on this one. Yes, they haven't done well in the domestic season, but as I said, they've caused some real upsets in the Europa League, and they've kind of proven that the Europa League is theirs this season. I mean, to beat FC Barcelona, and that was during the stage where they were kind of doing well under Xavi. Of course, to beat the likes of West Ham United, once again doing relatively well this season. To beat the likes of Real Betis, I think Eintracht Frankfurt have had a season to remember, and I think it'll be a season to remember with silverware. As I said, Rangers definitely not ruling them out. They could 100% win it. I think a definite play to watch is the likes of Tavernier. Once again, I think that's how you pronounce it too. In terms of a fullback, has scored 16 goals and gotten 16 assists this season. For a fullback, how is no one talking about the fact that he's not called up to the England international team? I mean, the last thing England need is another fullback to talk about. But as I said, absolutely incredible fullback, and I believe in the 21st century is the highest scoring right back in the entire world in the 21st century. That just shows how high up he is there, and in terms of contributing goals, I can see him doing it in the final, but as I said, I can still see Frankfurt winning this one. What a game it is going to be. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to the big boy, the Champions League, the trophy with big ears. Now, of course, looking at it, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, it's a very, very familiar Champions League final. Now, of course, it was only 2-3 years ago, I believe, where these two teams faced each other, where Real Madrid absolutely tore Loris Karius, our new one, and between the posts. But of course, Liverpool since then has improved their team, and I would argue, now, this is going to be a bold statement, this might be the best Liverpool team of all time, and that hurts me as a Manchester United fan to say, but it's the truth. Liverpool looks so strong, but of course, two major worries for them is the fact that Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, two of the most important players in this team, are injured at the moment. Look, there are talks that it is very likely that they will be back for the final, but of course, if they are not, that is a major loss for Liverpool. Of course, one of the big talking points is the fact that Liverpool are still on the road for the quadruple. They could take 4 trophies home come the end of the season. Once again, just breaks me a tiny bit as a Manchester United fan, but you have to admit, Liverpool are so good. Winning the FA Cup, winning the Carabao Cup this season, 1 point behind Man City at the moment, could win the Champions League. What a season for Liverpool. Their first ever chance of a quadruple in the Premier League. How big would that be? Or just in general, in all competitions, it would be gigantic. But of course, looking at Real Madrid, we know once again how good they can be. The most successful team in Champions League history. I mean, so far this campaign, both teams have performed so well in the competition. Obviously, Liverpool came through what many people considered the group of death, with Porto, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid. Past that, they beat the likes of Inter Milan. They've obviously had Benfica, they've had Villarreal. Liverpool have not had an easy competition whatsoever. Looking at the likes of Real Madrid, yes, they had a slightly easier group, I'd argue. Yes, they also played the likes of Inter Milan, they had Sheriff, they had Shakhtar Donetsk, once again, were expected to win that group, although there was an upset upset when they lost to the likes of the Moldovan team Sheriff, but of course looking at it past that, Real Madrid have had a lot of second chances. Obviously after they ended up getting through in the round of 16, they lost to PSG in the first leg but won the second leg. In the semi-final or in the quarter-final, they lost to Chelsea but won the second leg. In the semi-final, they played Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world, lost the first leg, won the second leg. Real Madrid have relied a lot on the second leg, but of course they've done it versus some of the biggest teams in the world. But if they want to win the Champions League, they have to do it first time versus Liverpool. As I said, it is going to be such a tremendously difficult game to predict. I've got no idea what to go for. As I said, both of these teams looking so tremendously strong at the moment. I mean, I solidly believe that even if Real Madrid lose this, that Karim Benzema will probably end up winning the Ballon d'Or. He has been brilliant. He has scored more goals in the Champions League this season than Sadio Mane has in the Premier League. That is how good he has been. This Real Madrid team as a whole looking so strong, this Liverpool team as a whole looking so strong. It could go absolutely either way, but one thing that kind of separates them in my opinion, yes, I know obviously Real Madrid lost 4-0 to Barcelona a bit early on in the season, but I've seen a lot of sloppy moments from Liverpool this season. Maybe it is because I watched them more. That is definitely a situation that could happen. But of course, yesterday they did play against the likes of Southampton, although they ended up beating them. I would say that there were large portions of the game where they didn't look convincing. When they played Manchester City early on this season, they didn't look convincing in many parts. I've seen many occasions where Liverpool haven't looked that promising, where I can't say the same about Real Madrid, although as I said, they keep on losing first legs. So I guess that's a good example of that. Both of these two teams, it is going to be so incredibly close. Who's going to end up winning it? Well, in my opinion, although I really want an English team to win, I do think the most successful team of all time in the Champions League, Real Madrid, will take home another trophy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for my 3 European final predictions coming up this week. As I said, absolutely 3 gigantic games. I don't know whether my predictions will be right or not. Of course, I would be hoping so, but of course, I can just already tell how entertaining these 3 games will be. I want you guys to put down in the comment section down below. Don't forget, what are your predictions for these 3 games? Don't forget to subscribe down below to catch more of my content in the future. Don't forget to leave a like. As I said, 3 gigantic games. I've got no idea what's going to end up happening, but we will have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been Finn, FYNN. I need to go blow my nose. Cheers.